Let me talk to you real for a second. You ever get what you thought you wanted and still feel empty? You ever worked for it, grinded for it, even prayed for it, and then once it was in your hands, it didn't hit like you thought it would? That car, that body, that girl, that paycheck. You finally got the win, but the feeling didn't last. It faded fast. You post it, people clap, they DM you saying you're killing it, bro. But inside, it's just quiet. Numb, hollow. See, I know what that feels like, and I know you do too. Because we've all chased after success the world told us to want, and we've all had that moment when we realized it didn't fix what was broken inside. Let me tell you why. Because real success was never about what you stack. It's about what you stand on. And if you're building your life on empty wins, you're gonna keep losing where it matters most. I don't care how many zeros are in your bank account. If you're bankrupt in your soul, you're broke. You hear me? If your confidence only comes from your clothes, your abs, your followers, you're walking around like a king with no crown. No peace, no purpose, just pressure, and the enemy loves that. He loves when you're addicted to applause. Because applause fades, but purpose fills. It fills you when no one's watching. It fills you when you're rejected. It fills you when your phone's dry, your bank's low, and your prayers sound like whispers in the dark. Because purpose is planted in your identity, and identity, my brother, can't be bought. It's God-given. The world will keep telling you that if you just achieve more, get more, attract more, then maybe you'll finally feel like a man. But let me tell you what the word says. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? That's not a metaphor, that's a warning. You could win in every external category and still be spiritually bankrupt, because your soul isn't nourished by success, it's nourished by surrender. To God, to truth, to who you really are underneath all the layers. Some of y'all are showing up strong, but you're silently suffering. You're pouring out into women, into work, into weight rooms, but nobody's pouring into you. And you've convinced yourself this is what manhood looks like. But that's not manhood, that's martyrdom. You're not supposed to die performing for people who wouldn't even pray for you. God didn't create you to perform. He created you to be filled with peace, with wisdom, with the kind of confidence that doesn't flex, it flows. That doesn't seek attention. It attracts it because it's rooted in something real. And listen, I get it. We've all been taught that our worth is in what we do, so we chase wins to feel worthy. We chase women to feel wanted. We chase money to feel manly. But the moment you stop running and start receiving what God already said about you, that's when the game changes. Because success, God's way, is a full heart over a full schedule. It's peace over pressure. It's knowing that whether you're up or down, single or married, seen or hidden, you're still chosen. Still worthy, still valuable, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. So if you're sitting here tonight, listening to this, and your soul is tired, I want you to hear me. You are not broken. You are just misaligned. You've been chasing empty wins when God's been trying to hand you a full heart. And He's not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be present with Him, with yourself, with your purpose. Because when you finally get that full heart, that peace, that identity, everything changes. You stop settling. You stop hustling for love. You stop faking confidence. You become a man who doesn't need the world's permission to walk in power. That's success. That's what you were born for, not the applause, not the likes, not the brand, but the truth. The real you, and trust me, that's more than enough. You know what exhausts so many men today? It's not just the grind. It's the performance. It's the constant pressure to be on, all the time. You wake up and the mask goes on before your feet hit the floor. Smile right, sound confident, be cool, be wanted, be successful, be unbothered, and God forbid you show an ounce of weakness because the world will eat you alive for it. Right. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were real? Like fully, unapologetically, unguardedly you? Not the curated version, not the version you post on IG, not the version women expect, or your boys admire, or your parents tolerate. I'm talking about you, the one who has questions, the one who gets tired, the one who's scared sometimes, the one who wonders if he's really enough. Because I want you to hear this, God can't bless who you pretend to be. He blesses the real you, and here's the truth. God never asked you to perform. That's the world's system, not his. The world says, be impressive. God says, be honest. The world says, show them strength. God says, show me your scars. You think being real makes you weak. No, it makes you free. Because you can't be healed in hiding. And some of y'all have been hiding for years. You've been performing in your relationships. You've been performing at church. You've been performing at work. As asterisk forgot, God already saw those parts called you. He called you knowing about the heartbreak. He called you knowing you messed up. He called you knowing you struggle with lust. He called you knowing you're trying to figure out your worth. But you keep trying to impress people who don't even have the power to heal you. You keep trying to perform for people who didn't die for you. And every time you fake it, you feed the lie that who you are is not enough. And let me tell you, that's exactly what the enemy wants. Because as long as you're performing, you're never present. And if you're not present, you're not powerful. You can't walk in purpose if you're disconnected from yourself. God is not impressed by your hustle. He's moved by your humility. He wants the version of you who says, God, I'm tired. God, I don't have it all figured out. God, I'm hurting, but I'm here. That's when transformation starts, because when you show up as your real self, God meets you with real grace. And that grace doesn't shame you, it restores you. Listen, I've been there. I've tried to keep the image polished while my soul was falling apart. I've smiled on stages and cried alone in hotel rooms. I know what it's like to lead people while feeling lost myself. But it wasn't until I got real with God that I finally felt seen, finally felt free, and some of you listening right now, you're long overdue for that moment. So here's what I'm challenging you to do. Take the mask off, lay the performance down. You don't need to act strong today. You just need to be real. Because the men who change the world, they're not the ones who hide behind filters. They are the ones who face their truth and walk through it with God. That's you, my brother, not the actor, not the faker, but the real man, the cold man, the free man, and guess what? He's already inside you. It's time to let him speak. Let me say something that might sting a little bit. You've been chasing the wrong thing. Not because you're a bad man, not because you don't love deeply, but because somewhere along the line you were told that a woman would heal you, that if you just found her, the loneliness would disappear, the insecurities would fade, you'd finally feel like a man. And so what happened? You went out chasing affection, chasing connection, chasing bodies instead of building a soul. You're not alone, I've been there. So many of us have that craving for a her. To complete you it's real. But hear me, no woman can heal what only God can restore. She can't father your wounds. She can't fix your foundation. She can't give you identity. She might be a blessing, yes, but she was never meant to be your savior. Some of you are asking God for a queen when you haven't yet surrendered to the king. You say you want a Proverbs 31 woman, but God's asking, are you a Psalm 1 man? Are your roots planted in me, or are they in attention, approval, performance? And here's the hard truth when you don't know who you are. You'll attach your worth to whoever gives you the most attention. That's why some of you are stuck in toxic cycles, situationships, DM games, emotional confusion. You're not chasing love, you're chasing relief. But relief doesn't last, purpose does. See, a relationship built outside of your identity in Christ will always require you to sacrifice your soul to maintain it. And that's not love, that's bondage. That's why God is calling you to Him first. Not because He's trying to withhold love from you, but because He's trying to build a foundation for you. He knows what's ahead. He sees what you're carrying, and He wants to form a man who doesn't need a woman to feel whole, but who can steward a woman with strength, clarity, and grace when she comes. You can't lead her if you're still lost. You can't cover her if you're uncovered yourself. You can't love her the way she deserves until you've received love from the one who defines it. And don't get me wrong, love is beautiful. Marriage is powerful. But they're not replacements for God. They're reflections of Him. So stop chasing her hoping to find Him. Chase Him, and you'll find her already on that path. And let me speak this over you right now. You are not too broken to be loved. You are not too far gone to be healed. You are not too late to be aligned with God's design for your life. But it starts when you shift your pursuit, not from a place of shame, from a place of awakening. You were made for more than swipes and short-term highs. You were made to build something eternal. You were made to love deeply, but only after you've let God love you completely. And I promise you, once you find Him, you'll stop begging for what you used to settle for. You'll stop folding for attention. You'll stop shrinking your standards just to fill the silence, because now you'll be rooted, you'll be anchored. You'll be ready. That's when love becomes a blessing, not a bandage. That's when the right woman doesn't distract you from God. She walks with you toward Him. That's when you stop chasing and start building. So my brother, stop chasing her. Start chasing Him. He's been waiting. Let's talk about your pain. Yeah, that pain. The kind you don't post about. The kind that sits in your chest like a weight nobody else can see. The kind that makes you wonder if God's even listening, if He even cares. I know what it's like to be in that space where everything in your life looks functional. But your soul is quietly bleeding. You get up, you grind, you smile, but deep inside you're asking, why me? Why did they leave? Why did it fall apart? Why didn't it work out the way I prayed it would? And here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Pain is part of the process. But here's the greater truth. Your pain is not pointless. Some of you are judging yourself based on your wounds. You've made what happened to you your identity. But what if I told you, what if God is using the very thing that tried to break you to build you? See, we think purpose comes in shiny packages, blessings, promotions, good vibes only, but no. Purpose is forged in the fire. Character is built in the breaking, and some of the most powerful men I know, they didn't get strong because life was easy. They got strong because they bled and kept walking. Listen to me, your pain has a purpose. It's not random. It's not wasted. God isn't cruel. He's crafting something in you. And I know that's hard to hear when you're in the middle of it, when you're crying in secret. When the door closed, the friend switched up, the love you gave wasn't returned. But can I tell you something I've lived? What hurts today might heal someone tomorrow. What crushed you might be the same story that calls someone else to rise. What the enemy used to isolate you, God will use to elevate you. David had pain before the palace. Joseph had betrayal before the breakthrough. Jesus had a cross before the crown. Don't think you're being punished, you're being prepared. God is getting you ready for something greater than what you're asking for. And sometimes the only way to build the man inside of you is to let the boy in you die. The boy who needs approval. The boy who avoids truth. The boy who hides behind anger and ego. He can't go where God is calling the man. And that pain you feel, it's not your ending, it's the press that crushes the olive to produce the oil. That oil, that anointing, that purpose on your life, it's costly, because your calling is weighty. But don't you dare give up in the middle of it. Don't you dare think the pain disqualifies you. It's the opposite. The pain is proof that there's something in you worth fighting for, worth refining, worth releasing. The pain broke the fake. The pain exposed the weak foundations. The pain showed you who's really with you. The pain called you back to God. So stop asking, why am I going through this? And start asking, God, what are you growing in me through this? Because when the dust settles and the tears dry and you look back, you're gonna see it. The blessing hidden in the breaking. The purpose buried in the pressure. And you're gonna thank God not just for the mountain, but for the valley that prepared your legs to climb it. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's just the chapter where the man gets built. And trust me, the man coming out of this fire, he's stronger, he's wiser, he's free. Let me speak into your identity for a minute. You were built for more. I know the world has tried to convince you otherwise. I know life might have made you settle. Maybe people walked away. Maybe your confidence took some hits. Maybe you stopped dreaming because every time you did, disappointment showed up like clockwork. Maybe now you've convinced yourself that average is safer than aiming higher. But let me tell you what I know with every fiber of my spirit. There is more in you. More than the lust you keep running to when no one's watching. More than the fear you keep hiding behind with all your jokes and your swagger. More than the 9 to 5 you hate, the relationship you're pretending is enough. The fake peace that comes from numbing instead of healing. You were built by a God who never wastes materials, and He didn't build you for mediocrity. He built you for impact. He built you for legacy. He built you for purpose. But here's the thing. Purpose doesn't show up in your life automatically. It doesn't arrive in an Amazon box. It doesn't come wrapped in applause. You've got to step into it. And stepping into more means being willing to leave what's comfortable. See, comfort is the enemy of calling, and some of you are too comfortable in dysfunction, too comfortable shrinking, too comfortable chasing low-level connections, jobs, attention, all because deep down, you forgot who you were. Or maybe no one ever told you, so let me be the one to tell you now. You are not random. You are not weak. You are not some broken project God's trying to figure out. You are a son. You are chosen. You are called. And there is more for you, more peace, more clarity, more wholeness, more strength. But God can't bless who you pretend to be. He blesses who you're willing to become. And sometimes, becoming that man, the one you were really made to be, means letting go of things that don't serve you anymore. Letting go of the mask, letting go of the noise, letting go of the lie that you have to have it all together to be used by God. No, God uses the available, God uses the honest, God uses the hungry. So here's what I'm asking. Are you hungry enough to stop settling? Are you bold enough to believe that what's ahead of you is worth leaving the familiar behind? Are you strong enough to admit that maybe you've been living below your calling, not because you're lazy, but because you've been afraid? Afraid to fail, afraid to succeed, afraid to hope again, afraid to believe that God really does have more for a man like you. But let me tell you this, the devil's biggest fear is a man who realizes who he is, a man who realizes that he was built for greatness. Not ego-driven greatness, but eternal, spirit-led, purpose-filled greatness, the kind that changes lives, the kind that breaks generational curses, the kind that doesn't just make noise, it makes impact. And if you've ever felt that tug deep in your gut, that you were made for something bigger than what you're living right now, that's not ego, that's God reminding you of what He put in you before you were born. You were built for more. Don't you ever forget that. Let's be real, we live in a time where popularity is the currency of value. Likes, follows, retweets, applause, approval. Everybody's trying to go viral, but nobody's trying to go deep. And so what happens? You start measuring your worth based on visibility. based on what people think, what people say, what people click on. And before you even realize it, you're not living for purpose anymore. You're living for attention. You're building a brand, but you're losing your soul. Listen to me. Purpose will cost you popularity. Every time, purpose won't always trend. Purpose won't always be clapped for. Purpose won't always be understood. Sometimes walking in purpose will make you look foolish to the people you once impressed. Sometimes purpose will isolate you. It will call you away from crowds. It will make you disappear so God can develop you. But let me tell you this, God never called you to be popular. He called you to be purposeful. Popularity says, look at me. Purpose says, God, use me. Popularity says, do what makes you liked. Purpose says, do what makes you holy. And I get it, we all want to be seen. We all want to be chosen. But what if I told you the greatest validation isn't found in applause, it's found in alignment? When you are walking in what God designed you to do, not what gets clicks, not what makes you cool, that's when you start to feel whole. Some of y'all are tired, not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing things you were never assigned to. You're performing roles that weren't yours to carry. You're chasing relevance when you should be chasing reverence. A life that pleases God over a life that pleases the crowd. Let me say something that might challenge you. If Jesus himself was misunderstood, rejected, and crucified, what makes you think you'll always be applauded for walking in truth? We say we want to be like Christ until it costs us influence, until it costs us connection, until it costs us access. But hear this, purpose may not get you likes, but it will get you legacy. And legacy matters more than likes ever will. God didn't put you on this earth to fit in. He put you here to stand out, to shift culture, not mimic it, to carry something eternal, not chase something temporary. So let me ask you, are you living for their praise or for his purpose? Are you chasing popularity or becoming the man God called you to be? Because purpose will ask you to be obedient when nobody's clapping. Purpose will require you to serve when nobody's watching. Purpose will demand you to be consistent, not just impressive. But when you choose purpose, truly choose it, your life will start to overflow with peace. You'll start to attract the right people. You'll stop competing with everybody around you. You'll stop chasing validation and start living from vision. You weren't made to go viral. You were made to go vertical, rooted in God, elevated by grace. So stop chasing the crowd and follow the call. Because when popularity fades, and it will, your purpose will still be standing. And when your name is forgotten by men, your faithfulness will be remembered by God. Choose purpose, my brother, every single time. Look, I don't know your full story. I don't know all the pain you've carried, all the battles you've fought in silence, all the nights you prayed for something real and felt like God went quiet. But I do know this, you're still here, and that means there's still breath in your lungs, still purpose in your bones, still power in your name, even if it's been forgotten by others. You're not invisible to God. You're not too broken. You're not too late. You're just in process. And that process, if you lean into it, will birth something so much stronger than the man you used to pretend to be. Don't let this culture tell you your value is tied to how many women want you, or how much money you flash, or how many people know your name. That's noise. God is calling you deeper. And if this message hit your spirit, if it reminded you of who you really are, or who you're becoming, I need you to do two things. Backhand index pointing right first. Don't keep it to yourself. Somebody else needs this word. Share it. Text it to your brother. DM it to a friend. Drop it in a group chat with the guys who are trying to grow. Backhand index pointing right second if you want more content that speaks to your soul, not just your ego. Subscribe. We're building something here. A tribe of men who are done performing and ready to walk in purpose. Hit that like button. Drop a comment. Let me know what part spoke to you. Because you matter, your voice matters, and you're healing your break through your next level. It starts now. So don't wait. Purpose over popularity. Every single time. I love you. God's not done with you. Let's rise.